Hello, friends. So I'm just starting recording today, and I'm going to take a look at the crypto markets and see what's going on, and just get a quick introduction to them and see if we can see anything jumping out at us before I go on to make the detailed technical analysis videos for Bitcoin, Chainlink, Tezos, and Ethereum today. So let's take a look around the markets, and I'm starting off here in the middle of blank space. Actually, just zoom back out a bit here and put on the Tron chart and see what Tron's looking like. I thought what I would do in this episode is work my way around to looking at the top four sort of coins that I do technical analysis for daily, starting off looking at these random altcoins just to get a sort of taster of the market. Actually scrolling up and down, you can see there's a bit of a mixture in terms of green and red. It's not an entirely red day, but it does look to be predominantly red. So Tron is one of the green ones. It's up 0.5% and against the USDT there. And the Tron Bitcoin pairing, likewise, it's not actually managed to do anything in terms of 236 Fibonacci retracements as yet. In terms of these lows, just drag this on down a bit, take it over to the side. So yeah, we've got this death cross on the go in the 4 hours as well. Look up to the 24-hour time frame. See how things are looking. So we're still quite a ways away from our targets towards getting up to the high side. As you can see, our previous high in here came in at 236. Interesting enough, the 21 EMA sloping down the way, looking negative here in general on this one. So let's see about the oscillators down below. Is there potential for some bullish divergence? No, there's not. And nope. What we're doing here on the DMI, well, can this actually just turn around at this point, or will its strength of trend actually increase and we have a downward trend here versus the dollar for Tron continue with these highs and lows here or not? Starting to see the potential for bullish divergence here on the MACD, so I'll be taking a look out for this as a wedge perhaps in this time zone. Let's take a look down the way and see if we've got bullish divergence. So we do in the 4 hour time frame, looking at these lows of the last little tail end of this, and yeah, we've got that there. So maybe we're starting to see a little bit of a turnaround there, and is that leading the way? Let's take a look at a couple of other ones. Dot, it has the potential for some bullish divergence here, has some here on the between the 21st of September and the 22nd of September on the 4 hour time frame, with those lows looking there down below. So that's interesting. Maybe we've got something happening here for us. So we'd like to see us moving up above the 21. This is versus Bitcoin. Just let's take a look at it versus the dollar actually. So there's that bullish divergence there again. Had head and shoulders play out. Can we see something happen here? Will we get an ascending triangle perhaps? Or perhaps an inverted head and shoulders across the board with these ones in some sort of a sense at the bottom? Well, we'll have to take a look at that in the future, looking towards $4.35. If we can get above that, then things are looking very good. That'll be a series of higher highs. If we break up above the sort of the $4.14 here in this one, be looking for a move perhaps up towards that 430s area. But also if we fail to take out that high at the 417 area, then I'd be looking back down towards 390 again in terms of this one. So there's a bit of leeway on this. We have got bullish divergence on here. So that's good to see the potential for a turnaround there on this one, despite being a red day, obviously down 2%. Take a look over here at Compounds Coin versus Bitcoin. Somebody actually asked me to take a look at this the other day in the comments. I don't do those, by the way, anymore for people who aren't joined up to the channel, hitting that join button. It's down below. But I do, occasionally take a look at stuff. Thanks for subscribing, by the way, pal. And yeah, so let me see here, between this low and the most recent low, we have bullish divergence on the go here on the 4 hour time frame. This is obviously quite stretched out compared to the sort of the price action we've seen on these other coins. Looking at this, like it's more like the Tron one really, with this same sort of potential here actually for the bullish divergence, really looking between these two lows again, spread out past that rise and down again. So looking at this one, we've come in without hidden bearish divergence for this high here on the RSI. We've got maybe potential for it here on the stochastics. And we have this crossing over again, the DMI, with this still above 25, in fact. So, this is a negative sign for us. So we would really need to see this kind of finding its feet again and actually getting some sort of movement towards the top side off the back of that bullish divergence there. Really want to see that happening. So to take a look at targets for us, then got to talk about 14.5 up to the wick of this area here, really between the 50 simple moving average and the 21 here on the daily time frame, or the 55 and the 21. Can we get up towards those two targets really at 15 and 16 and a half? 0.015, 0.0165 sort of thing. Will we have we actually push past this low here in this area of you can see how the importance below this bullish control zone or bearish control zone here in the oversold territory is, the fact that we're still within this, movements down the way and staying within, being rejected from this area, it would obviously be negative in the stochastics. So want to see that turn towards the top side. I don't have it versus the dollar on here, so I'll put it on versus the dollar. I suppose might as well. Comp USDT, there it is there. Stick it on. Same story. Same story on this one, looking between $161 and $173. That's where I want to see the prices go to, or else, we're looking down the way at 127 and saying, well, that movement's below that, could come in for another low thereafter. And a failure of all this sort of stuff. Movements up above the neutral line, the RSI, and actually going up and testing this bullish control zone again, could see a turnaround, and movements above 167, obviously fairly positive here, and 170 in terms of the 4-hour time frame, and the previous two highs on this downward, on this lower highs and lower lows series of a trend. So that's what we're looking at there. What about Uni? This has done well today, has it, so far? Well, in the last 4 hours, it's gone above its 21 exponential moving average. The 24-hour chart's obviously got no indicators on here, so it's a shortly new coin. So there's not much to look at, but we can look down the way and look at, see how it's been doing on the 1-hour time frame. That's how new this thing is. And we've come in here, managed to put in a high, done it without divergence on the way up, turning things around, got a nice cross here on the DMI with the ADX moving towards the top side currently, not too far away from getting into that bullish territory again. Bullish price targets, horizontals, going to have to stick a couple of these on here. Going to have to say this area here is going to be one of them, and this area here is going to be another one of these sort of zones to look to in terms of, are we turning things around? I'll stick in a green one then up here at the top of this wick, just make this green, and say that's where, this sort of the big all-time highs, if you like, on this 1 hour. And I'll stick a red one in here and say this will be the sort of the post launch of the coin red line in and around about these zones, using the wicks on these two candles. Make this one red. So that's what we're looking at between this thing, and we can probably tie a Fibonacci retracement around this here to give us a sort of better look at things between those two areas there as well. Knowing the prices then thereafter towards the top side, talking this is versus the Bitcoin as well, so you're gonna have to work out the dollar ones yourself. 0.00046401, 46,401, 52,700, so 53,000, 58,000, and 64,000, 63 to 64,000 are the targets really here on this one if we do move towards the top side just initially, and that would take us very much up towards this, second. If this is like a big traffic light, this zone in the middle here is the really sort of when we're starting to look like we could be getting ready to go. If we do cross that line towards the top side, then things get very exciting, of course, for that one. Okie dokie. What about other things like Lend? Are we seeing anything different at this stage? We're above the 50. This is the 1 hour time frame. Go to the 4 hour time frame. It's been a bit more negative over here. This is potentially quite good, and we could potentially move above the neutral line on the RSI and get a chance again at the stochastics and kind of undo this head and shoulders-esque stochastic movement here. Just moving up above that area of this most recent of the neutral line is really going to show us some positivity. Continued to be rejected from that. We could just see things coming back down into this oversold territory again. Have to look towards the same sort of concepts with the RSI, with a good chance here in the 4-hour time frame to get some bullish divergence should we set in a lower low, and indeed we might be able to turn things around from here. Could that be an inverted head and shoulders of any sort or anything like that? Not really, not on that time frame. The 1-hour time frame, not really. What about the 24-hour time frame though, so we can see how things have really been shaping up? This negative trend here is convergent on the oscillators down below all of them. Is that right? Yeah, it looks like it. Apart from the MACD. Again, the MACD giving us this idea that, we could potentially have a wedge, but wedges turn to channels when they fail so often, so look out for that just with this chunk of price action just here. What did I want to look at? I wanted to look at VeChain as well. Where have I got that on the list? I know I've got it here somewhere. VET-USD. Here we go. Look at that mess. Good stuff though. We've got a bullishly divergent low coming in here with this test here at the 50% retracement area, coming in for a potential double bottom where we could see turnaround prices coming in here, and got targets up above of 0.0145. So 14 yeah, okay, so 0.0145, 0.01752 being the next targets towards the top side. And we've come down and gone to the 382 of this all-time highs and lows Fibonacci retracement here, just on this chart of Binance. Looking at VeChain, and we have then this other Fibonacci, which is our most recent of lows, our all-time lows up to the most recent of highs. Just position this correctly. Then that changes that 50% thing a wee bit. Actually, we're just below it. Can we recapture that zone and move up the way? Did I do it body to body on that one? No. Right. So can we do that? And then let's take one down from this area, this high here down to this low here, and say yes, things get positive above 0.0136. So if we're moving above that's price point, then of course we can look to targets of 0.018, 0.017, and 0.018 for that golden pocket retrace. We have got all that junk on the chart we don't need. Move these lines. They were just kind of showing the different areas where we could come down to. As we saw, we were on one of the green squiggles. We haven't taken out that high yet. We've still got a downward trend, so the high really is important at 382. If we can get up past the 236 and past the 382, that would be important. But movements up there, obviously, a lot of resistance up above, a lot of liquidity potential for things to be sold into. This being a potential for sort of a really bizarre head and shoulders effort. We already kind of had that up here at the highs, but with this idea. If we do move down below these areas, then we could come down to testing at these lows again. So I do want to see the prices be able to maintain this 50% Fibonacci retracement that we're right on really at the minute. At the worst come to the worst, then this here would have to be like your Alamo in this area here, where we have the 618 Fibonacci retracement and this previous high, part of this inflection point before the movement up the way parabolically. So that's what we're going to have to look to there, and that's where the 200 simple moving average is as well. So that's going to be considered sort of Alamo, and we'll call that 1 cent. So that 1 cent area is really got to be it. Like we're holding 1.2 at the minute. So let's see if we can get up towards the 1.36 and then the 1.6 area actually, so 0.016, so that we can really push up to where the 50 simple moving average is and sort of reconfirm this. The 50 simple moving average is going to be the best for the trend at the minute. 21 potentially going up false signals is what we are in a downward trend here, but we do have some bullish divergence, so this is going to be, you know, pretty temporarily important. And the 55 EMA coming in there at that 382 level is going to be important for us as well in terms of climbing towards the top side and confirming this. Of course, this is premature currently and could easily come in here for a lower low and push down, you know, just a lower low anywhere down to these areas, in which case those downward side targets are important. This here is initially, if we do go towards the top side and make a new high, I want to see us not putting in another low thereafter as well. So this would again be a very important zone for us, and the 236 would then get enhanced in terms of its importance. So yes, that'll do in terms of that look around the market. Let's jump over to the big coins then. Let's take a look first off at Bitcoin and see what it's been doing. Down 0.5% today, and we've come down to this area at the middle of this parallel channel where we've got two key support zones looking at us, and having made the move outside of that ascending broadening wedge, will we retest it or will we go on down the way and fill in that CME gap? How are we doing here in this one? We're above the 236, are we just currently? Yes, we're above it just currently, so let's see if we can maintain that on these other time frames, taking out the 21 EMA there, still below it here. Or maybe a gap in there just behind that stick that we filled it in. Then thereafter, 236 of key importance at the minute for us in terms of Bitcoin. The Ethereum pairing, well, we're down here challenging these areas again. Let's see, this is potential for divergence. Oops, got the brush tool out there. This low versus this low versus this low. Looking at that, there's a bit of bullish divergence on the go, certainly here at this point. So do we see things turning around from this area here, which is of key importance, or do we go down and actually sort of do this and do it all over again, you know, and get like a turnaround coming in there like that, which has got a sort of a lot of bullish divergence along the way, you know, or do we see it turning around perhaps here? I think if the Bitcoin parent still has to fill in that gap on the CME chart over here, then that would be something to look out for, that continuation on that front. And then of course there's key areas down below this, so you know, eventually if we do actually push past these zones, that would be very threatening in terms of the price action that we have still moving on down around about the neckline sort of zone for this head and shoulders. Could still happen in terms of the Bitcoin pairing for Ethereum Bitcoin, which case the 382 is going to be sort of very important for us in terms of, like, as we can see where this previous candle came down to series of candles on the 6th of September. Maybe then that's where we see things turn around at, perhaps. Key area, the crucial area of importance where that 50% is, looking back at these inflection points here and here. So those would be very important if this did actually play out that way, and I wonder what part of the overall market trend would be happening at that time. Pushing outside of the zone on our link wedge, but then again, is this just still what we got here? Yeah, just consistently divergence there, as we've got this wedge structure happening on the link Bitcoin pairing. That's a better drawn in there. Will we see turnarounds here at these points or not? Can it take this Fibonacci down a little bit more? Key area towards the top side, 96,000. Key area towards the bottom side, where we are more or less now, with the potential to go down as far as 50,000 thereafter. If we do crack on down, looking at 73,000, I suppose, instead of saying where we are now. What about versus the dollar though? Same story here. Just class B divergence on that point. What about over here? If we look at those two lows, is maybe what we'll have to do, going back to that and that. No, that doesn't work for us. So yeah, it's like this has not been great, and if we see a turnaround here at the 233, we did talk about maybe the need to come in for this one. Then maybe we have this wedge eventually get some sort of positive price action for us at some point. Potentially. Are we going to see something like that play out for us or not? We'll have to look at that in a bit more detail later on. I'll skip link Ethereum for just now. There's Litecoin. Same story over there. Same story. Got that same sort of story going on in the industry currently, really overall. It's 200 simple moving average for Harmony. Harmony 1. Below it over here versus BNB. Versus BTC, you're looking at it being right at the 200 simple. Below key areas where the 21 is, but overall trend has been towards the top side. Big head and shoulders over here, coming down, making the move off of it. Perhaps some more to go. Let's see versus the dollar what we're doing on the 200 simple. Key area for us right here, breaking down below 50 is going to be of importance for us, probably represent also some sort of failure here in the RSI, remaining in the oversold zone on the stochastics and that. But then we have this downward wedge idea again, as with the MACDs kind of showing everywhere. Are we seeing a tightening off of things? But then again, it could spring either direction. And Tezos still doing okay here, sunk back down the way, haven't come up and hit our red line, but at least we've done that. Can we retest it again and again and perhaps get some momentum towards the top side? What about the small time frames here? Are we doing anything in terms of the 4 hours with regards to divergence and whatnot? Well, the stochastics has it. It's not on the others. On the rundown here, there's a potential for hidden bearish divergence as well here at this top on the most recent time frame. So that could be quite negative, but then again at the same time, we're within this structure, came up, tested this area. If we're looking at potential for lower lows coming in again, then here at 17,000, 18,000, those sorts of things. Or, we turn around back past these levels that we're already looking at. I could probably change the colors here, but for this is the key area for us at the minute. It's at 20,000 versus the US dollar. Same story. The lack of divergence on that downward trend on the 4 hour time frames, strong movements towards the downside, come up here, being rejected by the 21 and the 236 on our first attempt of that, having to fight up the way, and if we do take out these targets, then we'd have the nice, ability to turn around with strength, already in place with the ADX up here right at 40 almost on the 4 hour time frame, so things could turn around on this one and turn around strongly and move and rally towards the top side looking at these things, but also they could just simply fail and go down the way. Looking at key areas for us in terms of that one could be, more or less where we are now at 36 in the RSI, looking at that bearish control zone, I suppose, again down below that moving average. We're in that inside pitchfork, right? Inside, isn't it? Yeah. Well, if we do manage to take it to 236, then the next target would be 382, and it could step up the weight and offer amazing trading opportunities for us. And that's the best thing to see, really, when you're looking at an asset. Overall, is what you'd be looking for. And if we did find profit taking coming in at 242, pushing the price back down again for a bigger sort of picture, higher low, lower high set up in around these areas on the bigger time frames, where we actually then recapture certain areas of this and have the potential to kind of think about things slightly differently in the future, breaking back up above that zone and coming back into what you can consider these key areas up above, lining up with this white Fibonacci retracement in the background. So there's the 236 and the 382 in there at 250 and 285, and then the 50% line coming in there at 320 would all be very key areas, on the way towards the top side should we do any of that. So we'll check out that in more detail later as well. I'm going to tune out for now. It's been quite a long episode, actually, 25 minutes just looking around the markets, but it's good to do from time to time. I've not done one of these in a while, and I've included the big coins in there at the end for people who want to see that information. But we've got a few other things I could have looked at that I didn't bother looking at. The US dollar's performance perhaps versus 105. Oh wait, yeah,
got my story on there still. Get rid of that. Could this? Well, this is key areas for us. Doing all right here on this thing, with the potential for this to have come in with a bit of nice tasty bullish divergence between these two lows here across the board. A turnaround here on the ADX, on the DMI potentially, with us having retaken out the ADX in terms of the DI negative DI moving down below it potentially. Very much a negative trend, of course. Well, there's some good things to be had there. Anyway, cool. Catch you next time. Thanks so much. I'm going to go on and do the detailed technical analysis for today. Bit surprised that I made this episode. Don't really know why I did it. Just thought I would. And yeah, cool. Okay, well, it's been enjoyable, and we'll and it's a look around the markets for us, a little bit of a taster of each of the big coins I've done recently, I suppose, in a way. Catch you next time. Oh, hit subscribe. Hit subscribe. Why not? Hit subscribe. Hit subscribe. Hit subscribe. Catch you next time.